Yasos and welcome to Vasilis Garden. Folks, potting mix trial day 4. And I did post something on yesterday or one of these days, or it depends on when you're watching it, about getting some advice on watering. So I stumbled across a problem here. When do I water them, and how often should I water them, and how much should I water them, what should I use as a gauge? So there's mixed reactions there. Some of you are saying that I should water them as they need it. Others are saying water them all at the same time, irrespective if they're dry or wet. Others are saying water them once the last bag dries out. So let all the others dry out, and when the last bag needs water, give them some water. Well, I watered on the first day I planted, I watered on the second day, I didn't water on the third day, and I haven't watered today, which is the 4th day. And yesterday and today we had mild weather. Today it was quite warm, and I knew they needed the water, but I said I'm just going to let them stress out today a little bit. And I've come back home, and most of them are okay. A lot of them, well, they all need a water. You can see the soil's actually gone white, and they are drying out, and the seedlings will not last another day if I don't water today. So it is late in the afternoon, and why I didn't water yesterday or today is because I left early, been off-site the whole day, and just got back now, and it is late afternoon. Thank God the days are getting longer. Now, the trial, how am I going to conduct this? Well, I'm going to go with the option of, we're not looking at water retention, we are looking at, and I'm hearing voices in my head saying, nah mate, let them dry out. No, we're not going to go with a water retention scenario. We're going to see how well the potting mix performs, because if you bought a bag of any particular brand, you would water it accordingly. If you bought 5 bags and they're all different, dogs, hey Kara, Vader, out of the way, not there. Go somewhere else and play, come on. So I'm going to go with watering them as they need it. So if each bag on its own, I can see it's drying out, I'm going to give it some water. And I'm going to actually set up a little spreadsheet and measure the amount of water and how often I'm watering any particular bag. So what I've done here is got my old drink bottle that I use for watering my little seedlings as I germinate them, and I've marked 100 ml increments all the way up to the top. So if I give a seedling, let's say 100 mils, well, on this particular day, it'll go down on a chart. So at the end, we'll see how well they perform under normal conditions, meaning while they're hydrated. We're not going to put them under stress, and we're going to do different trials. And I know half of you are going to get pretty angry with me at what I'm doing here, but we're going to do more trials. And if you don't like it, do it yourself. How's that? Okay, so I'm going to do many trials with the same potting mix. I'm not going to, well, we'll see how good the roots are. I intend not to buy any more potting mix, except for the ones that I haven't got, the brands. So we're going to do the trial now, make sure they all stay hydrated, and see how well they grow, meaning what sort of growth we get out of them, and also, are we going to get the nutritional value out of them by doing a Briggs test on these plants. So some of these potting mixes have got wetting agents in there, they've got some compost in them, they've got some gypsum in there, I'm seeing all sorts of things mixed up into these things, slow release fertilizers, and you know, there's stuff in here that'll last you up to 6 months of feeding, as Osmocote claims there, and some of them have got nothing, stuff that I've never seen before. I can't even recognize the mediums in them. So we're going to go around and water all these now, hydrate them well, and for those, and that's going to make 50% of you happy, maybe more, maybe less. I haven't done a tally on your views on this. Then for the rest of you who asked me to water these based on equal amounts, we're going to pot up in little black pots, because some of you are saying the black or the plastic bags are going to reflect the heat. I'm telling you something with these plastic bags and the colours on them, the amount of difference, or the difference in heat temperatures, is going to be minimal by comparison to what's going on inside the bag, as far as what's been mixed into them and how they've been brought to what they are and classed as a potting mix today. So what we're going to do is get small pots. I think 6-inch pots will be adequate. We're going to put some potting mix in each one of them, label the pots, and put a seedling in each one, and water them when the last potting mix dries out. So they're all going to go under water stress. So we're going to do a water test stress, which will also show us which one performs well as far as a growing medium for retention and growth. And then we're going to do this one here, which is not going to be the water stress, it's going to be the growing ability. And I'll separate them a little bit. How's that? I know we're outdoors, by the way, if you haven't noticed. So if you think these ones here are going to get more sun or less sun or more damage by wind or less damage by wind, you're kidding yourself. The only person who knows what's going to happen here is me and the guys holding the camera there, and the dogs, because we live here and we know the conditions of this environment. So this space here is going to have very little effect because they're close together. I may also, and give me your opinion on this one, should I just get a pencil or a screwdriver and punch some extra holes on the sides of the bags for more airflow or better airflow? I was thinking maybe they'll become a bit boggy because they're sitting on the ground. But in looking what I see here, with the sun coming out, it was about 17 degrees, which is pretty high for today. Oh, slow down. They have dried out. The Camellia Azalea, I don't expect to see anything amazing in that stuff because it's acidic. But then again, you know, I'll wait and see the proof of what happens. That's got a bit of a wilt in it. So has the tomato vegetables, got a little bit of wilt. So the garden basics are all struggling. This one here, the tomato and veg, is doing a little bit better. It's hard to tell with the premium. My one's got one little bit of wilt here, the cos lettuce. The others are sitting up fine and proper. I could see dehydration in this one as well, not only the soil. And if you want to talk about soil, well, this isn't soil. This is a potting medium, predominantly bark and some manures in there. It's got boosted with nitrogen. I hope that's an organic nitrogen, not a synthetic one, because nitrogen's in the air, folks. It's everywhere. And we have little bacteria in the soil, and hopefully we'll get some in here that'll actually absorb the nitrogen. You know, they'll bring it down and put it into the soil, and then your plant can take it up. We'll talk about that another day. So now, 100 mils per seedling. The ones that need it, that needs it. Where's my measurement? I haven't even, there, that's 50 mils. So 100 mils is adequate. I've got to turn this around so I can see it. Yeah, still 70 mils. I'm going to get a good drink. I'm going to be here forever, folks. So we're going to measure how much water each one's going to need. So tonight they're all going to get 100 mils each. So we've done 1, 2, we're up to the third one here. And the other part that some of you are thinking, what about the rest of the potty mix inside where the water's not getting to? Well, none of them are. So it's all the same. All right, folks, so the trial number 1, let me recap. Trial number 1 is going to be water each one as it needs it in their bags, as we are. Trial number 2, because that way what we're going to do with the trial number 1 is see how well the soil performs without putting it under stress, water stress. Trial number 2 will be in pots and water only when the last potting mix or planting mix dries out. So if every other bag dries up, they're not going to get their water until the last bag dries out. So we're going to work on the water retention as well as growing a capacity. And trial number 3, well, that's going to be in pots again, but it'll be under the same conditions as this one here. Water only as the seedling needs it, or the planting or potting mix needs it. And that way, under the 3 different trial conditions that we're going to do, folks, we'll be able to determine which potting mix is great without the stress, growing in the bag, which potting mix performs well under stress in the pot, and obviously how well they grow in the pot without the stress again. And that way, we've covered all bases. I hope so, because I've just confused myself. Now, if you don't like that, no, it's all good, folks. Sit back and watch this, and if you do have any more tips and advice, I don't care. You can keep them to yourself. No, well, no. If it's a good one, I'll have a listen. But if it isn't, really don't. I mean, read through some of the comments. It's important that you do some research yourselves before you're commenting, because a lot of questions have been asked already. If there's something that I've missed here, I'd love to hear from you. But if it's something that's already been covered, well, scroll through and find the video, watch it, and maybe you'll get the answers there. But in the meantime, sit back and watch this space. And guess what, folks? Once we finish this trial, guess what our next trial is going to be? Liquid fertilisers, that's right. We're going to test all the liquid fertilisers available in the retail stores and see which one comes up on top and which one we should steer right away from. And we're going to use only the one medium. That's going to be our base, our planting mix. So that's going to be a lot of fun, eh? Stay tuned for that one. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com, for all your liquid fertilisers that we think they're top notch. We know they are, we don't think that. And our planting mix as well. vasilisgarden.com, Maresi.